Teen Sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Greetings, Mother Earth, and everybody who is on it listening to the show today. I wanted to do a new introduction.
I like that.
I say the same thing every week. I'm really excited. We have a full cast of teens, queens, and kings. So let's get to it. First up, Romy Davies, Santa Barbara Dons. Romy, what's going on?
Thank you, Erica, and hello, everyone. This is Romy Davies, Santa Barbara High School senior, reporting back from Santa Barbara, California with this week's SB Dons Sports Recap. Paced by second-place finisher Andreas Dibdahl, Santa Barbara won the large school race at the Clovis Invitational in Fresno on Saturday. The Charger girls finished 10th as a team and the Dons 30th. There were 37 schools competing in the boys' large school race and 33 in the girls' race. The 5 Dons boys scorers in the race were separated by under a minute. Dibdahl ran the course in 60 minutes and 8 seconds, followed by teammates Kanan Burcham, 60 minutes and 35 seconds, Oliver Levine, 60 minutes and 50 seconds, Blaze Snow, 60 minutes and 55 seconds, and Bodie Andrulatis, with 17 minutes and 7 seconds. The Chargers will host the Dos Pueblos Invitational on Saturday, October 15th, at their own course. In our homecoming game this Friday, Santa Barbara High School worked on its running game against winless Channel Islands and ran away with a 55-0 football victory. Nathan Barrios rushed for 3 touchdowns, Koa Herrera ran for 2, and Benicio Garcia Holland scored 1 as the Dons improved to a 4-1 in Channel League and 6-1 overall. Channel Islands is 0-5 and 0-7. We host Dos Pueblos next Friday night. Last Tuesday, the boys' water polo team won their home game against Dos Pueblos by a score of 9-6, giving them an overall win-to-lose rate of 9-3. That's it for this week's SB Dons recap, and see you next time.
Thank you, Romy. All right, next up, we've got a Cardinal in the house, Bishop Diego. Let me give you a little 2 cents on this guy. His name is Shawn Walters. I'm really excited that he's on the show today. He's a football player, and he's also on the campus ministry. And today's his debut, so let's put our hands together, give him a warm welcome. Shawn, what's going on?
Thank you so much, Erica. This is Shawn Walters coming to you with the Bishop Diego High School Sports Recap. Starting off with girls volleyball, on Thursday, the girls were able to clinch the Tri-Valley League Championship with an absolute thrilling reverse sweep against St. Bonaventure. Outstanding performances by Eliana Urzua, who had an unbelievable 40 kills, Emma Coglizer, who had a whopping 26 digs, and stud Sofia Parisota, who added 8 digs along with 26 assists. That is just incredible. Girls tennis, on the other hand, had a rough day on Friday as they lost to St. Bonaventure 3-15. I am completely sure they'll bounce back, though. Also on Friday, boys varsity football had a long, hard-fought battle against their Marmonte League opponent, the Oaks Christian Lions, in which they unfortunately came up short 24-21. Though we lost, we had some stellar performances as star senior running back Kuron Gossett proved that he's the best once again as he rushed for 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Our defensive secondary also did their part, creating 2 turnovers, giving the ball back into the hands of senior quarterback AJ Vele. Vele also added a rushing touchdown along with multiple completions to stud wideout Liam Flood. Our boys look to redeem themselves next Friday as they head off to face Calabasas. Well, that's all I've got for your Bishop Sports Recap. Don't forget to tune in next week. This is Shawn Walters signing off.
Man, he hit it out of the park for his first day, right? Absolutely. I always tell, this is how we do it. We do it exactly how I was trained 12 years ago. Erica, 3, 2, 1. We don't, there's no training. There's nothing. And I say, speak from your heart, speak as if you're talking to your friends. And every week you get better and better and better. Yep. And that's why the last guy in the house, class of 1967, San Marcos Royal, our own Ed Langlo, he's going to finish up today. Ed, what's going on over at San Marcos?
Thank you, Erica. I'm Ed Langlo, proud alum of San Marcos High with the Royals recap.
The San Marcos football team came out as the underdog after 7 consecutive losses to DP, but they threw down the gauntlet at Scott O'Leary Stadium Friday night and the fight was on. Andrew McCullough took a pitch out from Josh Engel and took it 43 yards for the first touchdown of the game. At 8 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first quarter, Luke Sheffy kicked an extra point to make it 7-0 Royals. Then Patrick Kelly took the pitch from Engel and charged 27 yards downfield for a touchdown. Sheffy's kick was again good, making it 14-0 at 4:17 of the first quarter. San Marcos put together an imposing 87-yard drive, culminating in another touchdown, this time by Owen Lauderdale. The extra point wasn't there, so it's now 20-0. Engel then completed a 21-yard touchdown pass to Luke Crawford. Sheffy's kick is good, making it 27-0. In their second possession of the second half, the Royals ran a reverse. Engel handed the ball to McCullough. McCullough gave the ball to Nathan Jones going the other direction, and Jones took it all away, making it San Marcos 34, Dos Pueblos nada. Royals' Owen Lauderdale garnered a touchdown, served the Chargers with big hits, and blocked a field goal attempt, earning him MVP of the game. David Busso scored twice for the Chargers in the fourth quarter to end it, San Marcos 34, Dos Pueblos 14. Next Friday, the Royals venture down to Oxnard. In volleyball, the Royals girls swept Buena in their last home Channel League match, 25-8, 25-19, and 25-19, making them 10-3 and tied for second place with Oxnard. In water polo, San Marcos defeated Thousand Oaks 13-7 in a non-league game. Then on Thursday, they faced Westlake in a home game. Nick Prentice led the Royals with 5 goals and 3 steals. Charlie Franzen had 1 goal and 6 steals. Emmett Haggerty had 4 goals. Jordan Lynn landed 2 goals and 2 steals. And Matthew Demboski 8 blocks and 3 steals. The Royals are 5-0 in league play. And our guest today is Linda Jordan of Ojai Unified.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hi, I'm Don Sanders, donsmassageojai.com. And the future will be created by the passion and power of youth. Here in Ojai and Ventura, we work closely with Santa Barbara, promoting all kinds of the small business and the community that supports the youth, whether they're in sports, whether they're in arts, whether they're in more academic, whether they're into the trades. And so we have a guest today from Ojai Unified School District. She's the public information officer and the homeless foster youth liaison and assistant to Dr. Tiffany Morse, the OUSD superintendent that was with us over the summer. This is Linda Jordan.
Woo! Let's put it together.
Good morning.
We love the Family Fund.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Don, for that very gracious introduction. I'm also the director of a nonprofit formed in 2021 called OUSD Family Fund. It is a separate 501c3 nonprofit, and I'm excited to share an event that we have coming up with you all today.
Nice.
When's it happening?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Family Fund, if that's okay first.
Yes.
So your audience can learn a little bit more. Family Fund is, we were talking pre-show a little bit about what Family Fund is and does. It's very unique. And so it's a little bit different to explain. We had a piece in SSDA magazine over the summer, and that's Small School Districts Association magazine. They reached out to us because they said, there's nothing like Family Fund anywhere in any public school that we can find. And I said, well, that's Ojai, and that's sort of the heart of Ojai. In fact, our mission and our basically our vision is Ojai Unified School District is the heart and future of the community, the heart and future. And I do believe, just as Don stated, that the next generation is the heart and future of the world. So what are we doing to ensure that we're leveling the playing field for them? So Dr. Morris came to me in fall of 2019 and said, we just ran numbers for our low and very low income families. And Linda, about half of our students, over 1,100 out of 2,200 living in Ojai are low or very low income. Those terminologies are specific to the California Department of Education. And basically what it means is at poverty level or below poverty level. So you can imagine after we did this sort of research into, the demographics of our families, how we started thinking differently. Dr. Morse came to me and said, we can feed them while they're on campus because they qualify for free meals. So we, when the kids are with us, we can feed them breakfast and lunch, and we know that their nutrition needs are being met. But what else do they need? I said, that's a good question. So we began a surveying process, and the surveying process went out to all of those through a closed platform system that we have. It's called Parent Square. A survey went out to all of those families and said, what is it that you need? And from that, quantifiable research, we were able to look at and some conversations as well, some qualified, some conversations that we had, and we were able to confirm that data. Was they were looking for basically seven services that, as we look at them today, it really levels the playing field for student needs, whether it's in school, after school, or even at home. And so these are what we found. This is what our students and our families asked for. They asked for bikes and other transportations. Think about it. If there is a low income family and maybe it's a single parent and maybe that single parent works 2 back-to-back jobs, how does that kid get to school? Certainly we have public school transportation, but what if they're not near a bus stop? So we provide them with bikes. We've delivered over 220 bikes given to families in need since October of 2019. And we also provide bike helmets and bike locks. We also provide, until September of this year, bus tokens and trolley tokens weren't free. Now they are for all students in all of Ventura County. It's called Go Ventura County. It's an amazing program. But up until then, for 3 years, basically, we were providing trolley tokens, which is our local Ojai trolley, so they could get back and forth to school, or bus tokens if they perhaps lived out of the valley. And so we provided that for free. We've also provided nine clothing closet events since 2019. So it's seasonal. So imagine it's back to school. And we just did a quick little survey, and we did a little bit more research. The average family, and this is in the United States, the average family in the United States spent over $600 per child on back to school items. That included clothing, shoes, back to school type things like school supplies, etc. $600 per student. Can you imagine? It's the cost of living increase. Everything has increased.
Yep.
And so we provide also school supplies. We order them each semester based on teacher needs, teacher list of suggested supplies. And since August of 2020, we've delivered over 1,500 student packets that have been assembled and distributed.
Wow.
We provide after-school care funding. We do have, little after-school care, like it's called the Cub Club or the whatever. But basically, it allows, again, that single parent or that parent to be able to work a full-time job and provide for their family. But maybe the cost of childcare, even though it's very discounted, maybe they still can't meet that need. So we've been able to provide fee waivers for extended day, fee waivers for all qualified families. We've been able to provide after-school enrichment programs. We have performing arts after school. We have an after-school mountain biking club. We have after-school, all kinds of really cool things. But if you are a girl and you are attending high school and all of your friends want to join the lacrosse team, but you're very low income, your mom can't afford a $95 pair of lacrosse shoes. The schools will give you the uniform, but should you have to run in tennis shoes? No. So we receive those requests from our low and very low income students, anything that levels the playing field. There's also some really amazing field trips that our students get to go to every year. There's two that I'm going to highlight for you. And, feel free to jump in and ask me questions at any time. I just get so passionate. I start talking. There is two major field trips that all fifth grade students get to go to called Catalina Island Marine Institute. So it's a 3-day experience. I know when my son went to Catalina Island Marine Institute as a fifth grader, I was like, oh, how much? All right, we'll sell something on Craigslist. We'll see, but some families don't have that opportunity. Catalina Island Marine Institute is a 3-day experience on Catalina Island in this incredible, it's basically a marine biology lab where students get to learn how to scuba dive. Snorkel. They do a night snorkel. They get to be in a lab, in a marine lab, working with actual scientists, and they learn some really cool hands-on things. Well, if your family can't afford the $350 for this trip, what do you do? So a lot of times, our schools will fundraise and they'll do whatever, but, Family Fund has come along and said, listen, last year we did a little survey and there were 48 students that qualified. This is 48 fifth graders, just fifth graders who qualified as low and very low income. We sent a message to all 48 families. 28 applied for help and were delivered scholarships as well as anything else they needed. Do you need a sleeping bag? Do you need warm clothing, like a hoodie or whatever? It gets cold on the island. And we were able to help 28 students, which I was very excited about. And moving forward, we hope that even increases. Also, there's this incredible event called the Anaheim Heritage Music Festival, which our Nordhoff music students they're renowned for being award winners. We have an amazing music program. There was one student who was very low income. He applied for a scholarship. We were able to provide him a scholarship and he could attend 3 days at Anaheim with the students that he'd been with all 4 years. He was a graduating senior. He was a music student as a 9th grader all the way through. He was an amazing performer and there was no way we were going to say no to that kid. So I start getting a little
oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Give us the contact information. How can people get involved and help donate to this family
That's fund? A really great question. So we do have an event coming up that supports, it's our annual event, and you may or may not be able to attend, but you can reach out to ousdfamilyfund@gmail.com, which is our, we have a nonprofit board. We have a board in place, articles of incorporation. Everybody who is on the board gets to see that and respond to that email address. And we also have a turkey trot. It's our second annual turkey trot. And we ask families to make a difference for local families in need this holiday season when they're a turkey trot sponsor. So we have a sponsorship, or you can just come and run with us on Thanksgiving morning at Nordhoff High School.
That's fantastic.
Those are ways you can give. Mm-hmm.
We were so impressed with Dr. Tiffany, and that's why we wanted you to come back. And honestly, I know you're doing all the communications down there, but if we can be a platform for you, Teen Sports Radio, we would welcome you with open arms, Linda. It's truly anything
so
that's
inspiring.
Really wonderful. Really wonderful to see. Really wonderful to see you today, and please come back again. Erica invited you to become a co-host, and so. I really
all those in favor say aye. Aye. There you go. That's what we want. We want community leaders. That's what this show is all about. Don, where are we going next?
Wonderful. So next we're going to have a little break, and then we're going to come back with Ed Langlo. If only I'd known.
Nice. And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
I'm Ed Langlo with If Only I Had Known. If only I'd known is a mentor's moment with the teens with us remotely on Zoom, as well as those listening into the show on the radio. We're going to do something a little different today. If only I'd known, it'll be a little more of a discussion. I typically will take an adage or a story from high school history and write up a segment. But today it's based on some quotes that a friend of mine, Steve Bernston, sent me a long list of quotes, 2 pages long, and he thought that maybe I'd be able to use some of them in my If Only I'd Known segments. And sure enough, I found a couple of them that really applied. The first one had to do with something that I've done complete segments about, and that's opinion. Your opinion, if you get into a posturing moment and a debate about something, consider the fact that, is this just my opinion? Because the definition, or one of the definitions in my dictionary, is as a noun, an opinion is a belief or a judgment that rests on grounds insufficient to produce complete certainty. So an opinion is, say, compared to a fact. Like you'll never hear, or you probably will never hear anyone say that it is my opinion that pi d equals c, because that's a fact. So if it qualifies as an opinion, try not to get too serious about it. Have a discussion rather than a debate. And that can go into religion or politics or anything where you take something to heart. We take our religious beliefs to heart. So when someone disagrees with us, we get insulted because it sounds as though they're saying that we don't know what we're talking about, we're an idiot. So you get upset about it. And you need to try and make it more of a conversation than a debate.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really important to do that. So this first quote is, don't condemn others with a different opinion than yours, as you may both be wrong. And I had to laugh at that last part, as you may both be wrong, because I've never really looked at it that way, but it really applied. And the other thing about the quote that caught my eye was it's attributed to Dominiqie. So Dominiqie was a philosopher, probably Greek. And when Alexander invaded India, they got into a headbutting contest over materialist, which obviously Alexander the Great was a very materialist, and Dominiqie was not. So if you look at the dates, this would have been the 4th century BC that Alexander invaded India. So that always fascinates me when something goes back that far, and the philosophies or the things that people are discussing at that time go back that far. But like Pompeii, that's one of the things that put Pompeii on my bucket list. Was it was a quote that I read in National Geographic. They had done in 1984. They did a spread on Pompeii and Herculaneum and Vesuvius, and this verse that was written on the wall of a residence in Pompeii had to go back prior to the eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD. That means that quote was written over 2,000 years ago. And I got an opportunity to visit Pompeii this year. I spent a whole day walking the streets of...
Wow.
Just to find that quote. I get it.
Say that again.
I said, just to find that quote. I get it.
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't know that they would have let us into those kind of sensitive areas inside the house. But it fascinated me that was written that long ago. The verse was, if I remember right, it's nothing can last in ever-changing time. The sun that just shone brightly returns to the sea, and the moon wanes that just showed brightly in the sky. and the savagery of love's passion often ends up as a gentle breeze.
Sounds like something Dominique wrote. Dominique, I think that was yours.
You could say.
You came back. You came back.
It just fascinated me that the romantic issues in those days, 2,000 years ago, were so similar to what we're experiencing today.
Mm-hmm.
So
the human experience.
If only I had known when I was young not to condemn others with their different opinions, as we may both be wrong.
I'll throw one other thing in there, Ed, if you can maybe talk about this. What in your perspective, from this particular presentation you've just made, the difference between an opinion and an observation?
Well, an observation, it would be just empirical knowledge of what could be a fact or could be an opinion. So if you view something, you have empirical knowledge of it. But if it's not a fact, if you, let's say you observe someone giving a speech, a political speech, that still could be a political opinion. So you have to, even though you've observed something, you've seen it, you've heard it,
mm-hmm.
you still need to diagnose that to know, is this just a political dogma or is this a fact? Is it true? Mm-hmm. So my advice has always been that when you get into a debate and you start posturing over your opinion, if you can define your position as an opinion, try to let it be a discussion rather than a debate that you get into a shouting match with someone over.
Oh, I love that.
Well, Dominique always says, if something triggering you and you're heated, go to that space and place inside of why you're so upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, why am I acting like this? Because it's not, that was the thing that just triggered you.
What's the magic for me here?
Yeah, what's the magic? How it is.
Yeah.
And from my perspective as an observation, at least for me, this is just for me, when I speak on observations, I always say, that's my observation now. And as I gather new information, the observation is going to change.
Yeah.
So,
Dr. Jean, she does a lot with kids. Dr. Jean, when you see somebody going in full force and just is stuck on something, what do you do to help break that down?
Well, I was just thinking about how, even in that idea of like a discussion versus a debate, I think about the emotional part that is connected, right? And that if we're in an emotional state, we might feel really strongly about something. So just getting people to come to a place of, what is it? Let's let the feeling part be out and be present, and that can be valid. And then we might return to it again, right? So that we call that the coherent narrative, right? So this is my narrative for now. And then, next week I might have some other insights and a different coherency to how I understand what my issue was.
Yeah, sweet.
So
all right.
In today's society, we support more gender equality and social acceptance than we have in any time in my lifetime. But I feel that we're making up for it by political intolerance and religious dissent, particularly the politics, make up for that.
Nice.
And,
unfortunately,
Another quote. Oh, go ahead, Don.
We let's do this. We gotta shave some time here. Ed, who do we have next?
Up next will be Dominique Hackett with a Hygga moment.
I love it.
Nice transition.
Yeah.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall.
back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Hi, I'm Dominique Hackett, and this is a Hygga moment.
Hygga!
Hygga has to do with the things that are comfy and cozy in life that help support our living and growing character, and especially for teens, helping improve our learning environments. So this is a quick story about courage, and it has to do with a gentleman named John and his friends. He had about a group of 10 friends, and every year they would climb a mountain. And this year they decided to climb in Rancho Cucamonga. There's a peak called Cucamonga Peak. And Cucamonga Peak is about 8.8 in elevation, and it takes about 5 hours round trip to climb this mountain. So he and his friend climbed it, and when they got to the top, it took about 3.5 hours to get to the top. They're looking, it's so beautiful. But John turned around and he looked and he's like, wow, Mount Baldy is right there. Why don't we go climb Mount Baldy? And everybody was kind of kicking back, and they're thinking about, well, maybe we'll just, camp here, have fun, Why go climb anything else? This was easy, comfortable. We had a good time. Let's just, stay in our comfort zone. So John convinced a friend of his, and together the next day, they decided to go climb Mount Baldy. Now, Mount Baldy is 10 feet elevation.
10 feet?
Yeah. So it took them about
10,000 feet.
10,000 feet.
I was going to say, wow, 10 feet. I could even handle that. I can get 10 feet.
I can do it.
Note to self, I am dyslexic. And teens, if you've never had that issue happen, my dyslexia includes reading time. I have difficulty reading time. So 10,000 foot elevation. I have climbed Mount Baldy. So John and his one friend, they made that climb. There weren't as many people at the top. And when they got to the top, it took them about 4.5 hours. They started at daybreak. Everyone who was up there were only a few people, applauded. And that's what happens. When you get up to the top of a 10,000 foot elevation, if anyone's there before you, they really give you a round of applause because you have achieved something. And at the top of Mount Baldy, you can see the ocean and you can see the Mojave Desert on a clear day. It's amazing. So John was talking to one of the veteran hikers up at the top of Mount Baldy, and he said, why don't more people climb Mount Baldy? Why do they just climb Cucamonga Peak? And this veteran hiker said, most people stay within a crowd. And very few people have the courage to step out of that crowd and try something that takes a little more effort. But when you do something that takes a little more effort, you see things and have experiences that you don't have if you stay within the crowd. So what we encourage people with the Hygga moment is understanding the Hygga qualities in your life means that you can take those qualities and take them on your adventures and reach out of your comfort zone and step out of the crowd. And we're going to talk about next some issues that are kind of difficult issues where people are stepping out of the crowd, having courage to have a different experience in order to make life better and more enjoyable for many, many people.
Nice.
Love it.
That's beautiful. Well, I don't know how, there's only one person we're going back and forth with this issue. Should we? Nah, yes, no. I mean, this is the show that has broke ground in so many different areas, but why not share, right? Because that's what a lot of people don't pay attention to sports. They just don't, and that's okay. Teens do, but I want to elevate this to everybody because it's like a ripple effect, right? So we all got to, I just want Dr. Amy now to drop that boulder in the middle of the lake. And let's do it, Dr.
Let's have
Amy.
Courage.
That's it.
Okay, I'm ready. So this is Dr. Amy Saltzman with Still Quiet Place and Spot a Spider. And today, Erica's wisely chosen topic is the abuse scandal in women's soccer. So for those of you who are not aware, this past week, Sally Yates, who did an independent investigation, found rampant abuse in the NWSL and the United States Soccer Federation. And although normally when I talk about preventing abuse, I'm actually talking about what athletes students, musicians, and their parents can do at home. Today, we're going to talk more broadly about what we as a society can do. And this gets back to Dominique's comments, because what this requires actually is both individual and institutional courage. And what that means is that as a team or a club or a sports organization or even FIFA or the International Olympic Committee, we need to have the courage to put the proper policies in place. So that means screening coaches and staff, ensuring that coaches and staff sign conduct agreements about what's acceptable conduct and what's prohibited conduct. It means having anonymous athlete surveys and actually having those surveys conducted at least once a year and then following through on the results. It also means that you have an anonymous way for an athlete, parent, or staff member to report a concern, that you have an athlete safety committee to investigate that concern in a trauma-informed way. And then if you do discover abuse, that you act promptly. If you're unsure, the person who of concern is suspended until you're sure either that they have perpetrated abuse, in which case they should be fired and perhaps police reports should be made and all those types of things. Or if you truly determine after an independent trauma-sensitive investigation that they haven't, then maybe at a minimum that person needs to be retrained.
Yeah.
But then I think the biggest issue is there need to be consequences not only for the perpetrators, but for any responsible adult who is aware of and allows abuse to continue on their watch. So those people should be losing their jobs. And yesterday, the Portland Thorns fired 2 of their higher ups. I believe today the Chicago Red Stars have fired 2 of their higher ups because they did know and they failed to act to protect their players.
I think the last count, and this was just last weekend, half of the league has removed somebody. Half of the teams. Yes. Out of the 10 teams, 5 teams have removed somebody. And Don said it best. It's like the tip of the iceberg. And I think it's great. I mean, why did we have all this COVID and all this other kind of stuff? I mean, think about what it did for humanity. You know, it's almost like we woke up.
Or we're waking up.
Oh, we are waking up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just important. Dr. Jean.
Well, I like some of the things you were saying there, Amy, about, accountability and proactive ways of doing that. I think about people like therapists and teachers. We have access to children. We work with children so much. And there are all kinds of mandated reporter laws and things that have to happen and things that are in place so that children can be safe and that there's safe ways for it to report. I was also looking at that. What Sally Yates had reported also on the safe sport, that was, just that label that something's called safe sport and it's supposed to be a place to make reports. So that was disappointing, right? Things that are in place.
The issue is right now that safe sport is not fulfilling its mandate and its function. And what we've seen is that in and of itself, that's not adequate, which is why I created Spot a Spider, why I created the comprehensive programs from Spot a Spider that cover everyone from athlete and parents to the IOC. Like there are gaps at each level that need to be addressed. Parents need to be having conversations with their athletes so that athletes know what to look for and have the language to speak up. And then if you go all the way to the other end, the IOC needs to be implementing and actually using comprehensive systems to prevent abuse. And all of those are outlined under the resources on Spot a Spider.
Beautiful. Hey, I want to continue this. We still have a lot more show. Let's take a break. It's Erica, Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages.
streets of Brazil. Back in the USSR. We got another day, every day, dancing in the street. Crossing China too, me and you, dancing in the street.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
This is Dr. Amy Saltzman with Teen Sports Radio, and we are moving on to gratitude, knowing that this conversation about how to protect athletes, students, musicians, employees, parishioners from abuse is going to continue. So my gratitude is for Dominique and Erica, because last week I was having a day and couldn't quite find my truth and my faith. And I went over and got a hug and had a chat and felt so much better afterwards. And so I just want to say that even though all of us here on Teen Sports Radio may seem like we have it all together, we all have our moments, and I just encourage people to reach out to folks they love and trust for support.
Wow, that was unexpected. Thank you. That was sweet. Definitely. Ed, who do you want to say? We got 3 minutes.
I'd like to give a shout out to Steve Bernston, who gave me the quotes. He gave me 2 pages of quotes that I'll be able to use some of on If Only I'd Known.
Nice. Don.
I want to give a shout out to Anthony, who was here but couldn't get on earlier, for his tireless work behind the scenes, and to all people who are working so hard behind the scenes. And I've heard it said a measure of our character is how we treat people that are working hard behind the scenes, not just the people that we need to do business with,
Nice.
right in front of us.
That's beautiful. Dr. G.
I want to send a thank you out to Nicola Gordon, a good friend of mine. She's an artist and a musician, and she's just that one person that, when you really need to connect, and, we go take beach walks, very simple times together. And it's just so special to be able to have that person that you can go to, and all you got to do is spend a little time with them. It's really nice.
Dominique.
I want to give a quick thanks to the hiking guy. You can Google it, the hiking guy. So if you're planning on going for a hike, check out on the internet before you go. They give you really great information about the hike you're about to embark on.
Nice. Our producer, 12 years. He's like a brother. Richard Dugan.
Hey, sis. I'm going to send my gratitude out to General Manager of the station, Les Carroll. He's going through it right now with just the stuff that's going on in his life, just like the rest of us as well. But I just send a special thanks out to him for his support and encouragement, as well as allowing us to also support and encourage him.
Okay, so you stole mine? That's how you know we're related?
Yes.
We have some DNA
There
together,
you
so
go.
now I'm in panic as ADHD sets in.
Well,
so
you can be grateful to him, too.
I love the guy.
Yeah.
We had we've been checking in every other day or so. He's got a lot going on, and he's just a power.
Yeah.
And he's the godfather, is what Les is. Les, if you have daddy issues, you have a show on News Press Radio if you have daddy issues. I have, everybody knows. I've spent $10,000 to be able to say that I have daddy issues in therapy. And I love this man, and he's going through a lot, and he knows we're all on Teen Sports Radio. He's in our thoughts and prayers. So, Les, we love you. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. Make somebody happy this week. God bless. See you next week.
You're the best of my